Welcome back to another episode of Team Mediocre Gaming Podcast. Introducing our hosts, Corrupt Owl.
Don't say it like that, like I'm doing something fucking weird.
Demonic Axeman.
If you see a shark, you just go out and punch it.
And Bud Cephas.
You ever see Trash Turkey?
Join them for mediocre adventures into the world of gaming, tech, and general jackassery that only three mediocre men could deliver to your listening holes. Now settle in and buckle up. The time for mediocrity is now.
Hello and welcome to the TMG podcast. Tonight featuring the Bud Cephas, Demonic Axeman, and the Corrupt Owl. Tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of random stuff, guys. Stick around, it's time to nerd out.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, we're probably going to talk about games again.
Always.
I wonder why.
I guess that's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
We build these big machines to play good games.
It's in our name.
Yeah.
It's
So,
true.
It's in
Let's
our
see.
name.
I want to tone it down a little bit, guys. I was a little too bright.
Don't be too bright now.
A little too dark. There we go.
Be
Just
one
right.
of those saintly guys during the podcast.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, kind of like this?
yeah, like that. This is the Demonic Axeman playing with our studio lighting here behind me for people watching.
Sorry.
He's got tapped into my home network and can now control a studio light like 10 miles away.
Would it surprise you that one of these days he tells you that, hey, man, I had a lipstick camera on that thing the whole time?
Oh, yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me now.
And
I would
you
either
by
be.
far
I mean,
have like a
everybody's
higher
already
statistic.
watching me.
I mean,
Right.
like you by far have a higher statistic of anybody of walking through your house naked to get something out of the fridge.
That's true. It's a very true story.
Well, no, not as much as
I will not
me.
deny that.
You know,
It
I'm
happens.
50-50 on that. Well, it's like the other morning I had heartburn. Walked out in the middle of my yard in my underwear to get Tums out of my blazer.
Did you stop for a second and get one of those just big, refreshing, just...
I did, because it was
Shoot.
kind of cool, like 60 degrees, 55. I was like, crisp air. All right,
Yeah.
on to what we were looking for.
What's your
All right.
choice? Tums, Rolaids, what?
I like Pepsi Complete, if I'm honest.
I don't remember which ones. The chewable ones.
It's Pepsi Complete, the same thing we used to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
And
the
they
one that
have
works
one
best.
that's tropical. But
Oh, we need a sponsor from
fantastic.
Pepsi.
Yeah, because
We'll talk you up real good.
have heartburn.
The downfall of civilization right there, when adults have to take fucking chewable stuff just like kids have to take chewable Flintstones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, like Larry the Cable Guy says that you can like take one a day of some kind of pill and then be okay to eat hot dogs and watermelon on top of riding ATVs and stuff. So if I'm
Right.
gonna trust anybody, I'm gonna trust a fake kick, you know.
Right.
I'll stand behind that.
I feel like I made the mood weird in here.
You got it weird now, man. Let's change the vibes up a little.
Did I?
I'm not sure where to go with that.
Did I offend you all with like my
You did.
Larry the Cable Guy talk or something?
Yeah, man, it's too old now. Not really, since I'd like to talk about some old games.
It could be like Clayton T. Judd if you really want to go back.
You're right.
Didn't he have a song about playing Nintendo or something? Or am I thinking of like a Weird Al? Someone had to do a comedy song about playing video games.
Now you've got me wondering. We'll have to check that out. It'll see what was it? A country song or
what better time? Yeah, just search it up. We'll pull it up live. Well, live to us, not live to you, cutting knob goblins. Sorry, we're trying to workshop some names for our fans. Knob goblins, one of them. What's your
Mediocre
round?
Rats.
Mediocre Rats. That's got a good ring to it.
Mediocre Rats. Is this like getting into your deep-seated like fantasy of being a geologist or whatever, or a proctologist or whatever you said it was?
I was thinking more like a cultist leader, but I guess that'll work.
We was talking about rocks earlier, and we looked up the name of one of them, and I think it was what
Paleontologist was one of them. That was like
Yeah.
the study of bones and fossils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Are you thinking about the Little Dicky song? Maybe
No. Well,
It was a
the 90s,
petrology is the study of
maybe.
rocks.
because he talks about playing
Yeah.
Nintendo like a motherfucker or something. Like, we ain't getting high, we are getting sodas.
I'll tell you what blew my mind. Macho Man Randy Savage did
Oh,
rap.
his rap song, yeah. Any wrestling fans out there, you
I-
need to go check out the
I've
Macho Man
told
rap
people.
song.
I've
He has
told
a whole
people about
album.
this.
Yeah, there's a whole album. But I've not listened to the whole album. I've listened to just the one
Most
song.
of
He's
them
calling out
are.
the hook. And it's quite good, actually.
It's fantastic.
It
And
is pretty slick, yeah.
It really is quite good. It's like, whoa, man, Macho Man dropping bars, boy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It
I had no
was.
clue, and I was a big wrestling fan. I don't know how that
Same.
slipped past me.
Same. I was a big wrestling fan.
Now, if just Hulk Hogan had a clapback to it, that'd be
Oh, talking about
awesome.
old school wrestling, and since we're into tech and stuff, did you guys ever fool with the efeds? Did you ever hear of that?
Efeds.
The Electronic Wrestling Federations? It was cool, man. I partaked in this quite a bit. It was kind of like D&D role playing, but it's all wrestling, and you'd get on and role play your character, and you'd have like
It's still a
interviews.
thing.
Is it still a thing?
Top Wrestling EFEDs of 2022.
Wow, I didn't know it's still a thing. And
Is it
like,
a tabletop thing?
no, man, it's all like forum based, website based, and you get on there and type out like what your interview. Like, I'm gonna whoop this guy's ass come Sunday.
Well, like
You know,
promos.
Lobos is the baddest mother in town, and I wanna and I drop the volcanic eruption or whatever on him. I will take the title. And the best guy that could role play it out was the one that's going to end up winning the title.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's some
okay, I
cool
got
shit.
you.
Yeah,
Now, I
yeah. I
didn't know
played
that
a
was
little.
actually a thing.
Yeah, I did that a lot back in like the late '90s, early 2000s.
It started around 99.
See, yeah,
I mean, a heavy, as far as I could tell.
yeah. I got into it pretty good. Me and my cousin Jeffro, man. I had titles and shit on there on some of those efeds that I
Dude,
played around with.
let
I
me
didn't
just
realize we
take
was
take
in the company of a legend.
let me just take everybody down like some kind of visual highway that the Owls just experienced here while we was talking about this. They was talking, and my brain was running like 120 miles a second, dude. And all I visualize is that Bud Seif is sitting in front of a PC on his forum, garbage bag over his head, 2 holes cut out and ripped open so he could see through them, just fucking tied string around his head. Just sitting there
Right.
saying, "Oh yeah, they're going for the belt, and I'm gonna run out of the ring. I'm gonna run in here, just tackle the shit out of these motherfuckers, hit them with the chair. Yeah, you think you're gonna take the belt? No, I'm gonna here and take the belt. Oh yeah, fucking
Throw
takes
him through the
chair,
table,
slams
brother.
down. Bud, go to your room. But they was trying to take the belt, he said.
Right.
I see this all play out in my head, and it's just it's I don't
Go
know
to your
what
room,
the
you yard
word.
ape.
Heartwarming.
Right. Good old internet history. This is some good nostalgia facts. Kind of,
Probably
I
on
guess it's
dial-up.
not a lot of people, I guess, knew about efeds and things, but it's a thing and apparently still a thing.
I had
It
no
was a,
clue.
yeah. I liked it. My
Should
character's
we
name was Lavos. That's what I created. He was an American lucha libre trained wrestler,
should we go do
masked.
this like now? Like should this be like a thing that we like stick our toes into?
It could
We
be.
may
I
have to try
mean,
that on the next podcast. We'll have to do some promos.
right.
Yeah, we might.
It's fun stuff, man. I mean, if you like role playing, and of course we're a fucking pack of nerds, so
Yeah.
and I
Oh, yeah.
like wrestling. Used to anyway.
Well, we finally get to a place where we're recording in one studio. I mean, who's to say someone doesn't just come out of nowhere jumping off of a ladder onto a table?
You
Okay.
never know, man. I
you
used to do
don't
that stuff
know.
and record it back in the day too.
Well,
Welcome to a hillbilly jackass.
yeah, I'll tell you right
Hell,
now, if you don't know how to be hit by a ladder the right way, you can get messed up.
Yeah, you can get seriously
mangled,
injured, man. Wrestling may be
ruined,
scripted and
destroyed.
faked, but you get that shit will wreck you.
Absolutely.
Man, wrestling games back in the day, those were some good things too, weren't they? Did you
Yes,
guys play any of them?
I did. I played it
I did
probably
on
from Sega Genesis all the way up through Xbox
I played most of mine on like
360.
64 and PS1, I guess, and some
I was
PS2.
64.
I
Yeah, I
was
played
not
a
fortunate
couple
enough to have a
WCW games.
Oh, the WCW versus NWO World
Not
Tour.
Nitro. One of them was a
no.
Nitro
It's
game, I think.
WCW.
Yeah, WCW versus NWO World Tour. That was my
Yeah.
favorite one. Then there's that was another one. Revenge, Nitro Revenge, or the one you're talking about. That was really good too.
Yeah,
Then I liked all the WWF ones on PS1. The Attitude, I think, was the first one I
Attitude
played
Era.
on PS1. It was really good.
Well, looking at them from then till now, what do you think is a better representation of what wrestling would be in your eyes?
Mm.
The older games, nostalgia factor, you're going to have to take that and toss that aside
Yeah.
because everything with the nostalgia filter
Well,
just makes it look better.
I played that newest one with Mr. Weirdbeard there not too long ago, remember?
Yeah,
Right.
And
I remember you saying that.
it was pretty fun. It was okay, but I think as far as just like pure fun, the old like the 64 ones where they're more like an arcade style.
Pick your
Set
character, go in and have a match.
right. I kind of like that a little better, but I'm old school. I like old school things too. There's that. But the new one was fun. It was really fun. It's just more about counters, timing your counters, and then
Right.
moves. It's much-
2K pretty much just brought it to like their format of
yeah.
of career and whatnot. Go through your own career and do this, have this
Honestly,
match, schedule
2K was probably
that.
the last one I played.
I'd say the story modes on those are pretty good. No, I haven't played none of that. I imagine it probably a lot more deep than what like the story was on SmackDown on PS2. So I played that. That was a good one.
Imagine.
And it actually had story career mode with some decently written shit in it.
Right.
Which all boys have that phase when they're growing up where they're fans of wrestling and
Especially here in our location growing up, for sure.
right.
Because we're right in the midst of where they're all being trained and all that good stuff.
Well, see, I was a fan when it was still WWF.
Right.
Yeah.
Not WWE. Weird.
Unforgiven and Judgment Day in 1998, 1999 was pretty much the last
Yeah.
big thing that I remember watching.
You
Right.
had SummerSlam and all the good pay-per-views.
Man, it was so good back in the day. Some of the better TV, I think.
And some of the better runs for his characters, Rock and Stone Cold. And
Oh, yeah.
Undertaker, you can't deny him because he was in
No.
30 years.
You had all of the Generation X. I loved that
Yeah, Shawn
faction.
Michaels and China and
Yeah, X-Pac.
X-Pac. Yeah.
I call him
Hey, that
X-Pac
dude
too. Six-pack,
I reckon
X-Pac.
that dude's like a wild motherfucker.
I think he's still
Real
doing it, right?
Triple
I
H.
think.
I don't know, to be honest. I've not watched it in some time. Every now and again, I go with my dad's and he'll be watching. I watch it with him a little bit.
Right, I watch it with my mom when I'm around her. She still watches it, been into it as long as I can remember. But it's like bred into people around here. Just like, yeah, wrestling.
Yeah.
Woo.
You don't watch wrestling anymore. You're in them video games.
Yeah.
Well,
Bad
what if
thing
you're
is,
in
I
a
was
video
playing
game about
video
wrestling?
games of wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do then?
Yeah. Can't say nothing now, can you, man? That's why you can't ever say nothing bad about a video gamer.
Well, it's like
Because we're driving
that.
cars, we're wrestling, we're playing Call of Duty, shooting
Either a
stuff,
car game or
hunting.
like a wrestling game. He would not play against me. He said, "You know all them cheat codes."
Yeah. Cheat
I'm
codes,
like,
my ass. This is called Get Good, boy.
yeah.
Oh, that's a topic to bring up. The death of button cheat codes
Or
Oh,
game
yeah.
genies.
Oh,
or
Game
game
Genies.
genies and
What's
game
the
sharks.
Game Sharks? Yeah.
Oh, Game Sharks. I remember those for PlayStation.
Well, those for the PlayStation got to where you could do naughty things with them if you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
Real
use a Game
shady
Shark
stuff.
and play like your burnt discs and things. Yeah, that's one reason why I think some of those things don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because it is a physic. It's literally changing the code of the game to make it do what it does. Same with the Game Genie. It's when you're putting those letters and numbers in. That's literally code you're putting in there.
Well, I mean, you can buy one of those modded controller things to go on the back of your controller now from
But it's
think-
not really doing nothing more than making a button. Man, that looks so badass.
they got a turbo mode. I mean, rapid pushes and
Oh,
whatnot.
well, see, I didn't know they did that. Now that's cheating.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah, no, I agree that is cheating, but you can do the same with PC if you do macros on your stuff too.
That looks like you almost have a green screen behind you.
It does.
Listening.
Yeah,
I have
it's
a
amazing.
production light I'd made and put it on a tripod in his home, and I don't know where it's pointing, but it's a RGB floodlight,
Pointing directly straight at this wall.
and I changed the color of his white walls to pinkish purple, and it just looks surreal.
Dude,
It's like perfectly perpendicular to that.
Where you have white walls like that, you probably set that thing up to a green or something, and then actually move your setup around. You could have like an artificial green screen.
We might have to check this
I
out.
never thought about that.
That
That is a very good point.
That's very green. It's
The
amazing
blue,
how
though,
good that stuff works.
The shadow looks
the
like
shadow
they're-
from the TV is so weird.
Yeah, if you
Yes, it
guys
is.
haven't watched us on YouTube and just listen to us, go check out this on YouTube for sure because it looks.
Yeah, because as he
Pretty
changes
neat.
the color of the lights on the wall, it definitely makes that shadow. I guess it's the different spectrum of light.
Now
Yeah.
the blue is probably
Light
the
spectrum
worst.
going through.
I've also got my ring light blaring on the same wall too.
Yeah.
That's why there's a big white spot right here.
Let's just give him a break there. I like
It doesn't bother me from behind. I can't even hardly tell it. No, I've seen it on the camera. It looks cool.
What's
Now
funny
the
is when he
shadow's
forgets that
gone.
it's there and it's got it
Oh,
plugged
look.
up.
For people still watching,
Hey,
just
you need to
check
turn
out
that
the
piece on.
hobgoblin.
Just let them check out the
I
color.
don't have no power cable in it right now.
Oh no!
And I've cleaned up. I don't know exactly where. I should have plugged it up. Yeah.
'Cause
But
it
if you want to
has
see it run, you can go to our YouTube page and see us put it together and turn it on.
it has a 14-year-old cold cathode tube that still works,
Yeah.
and 14-year-old thermal paste that we
That
scraped
we-
off the old processor due to my over application years ago.
For those who don't know, that's what you used back in the old days to light your case up when there wasn't no
Yeah.
RGB strips and whatnot.
Yeah. Cold cathodes.
You either had
and
EL
LED
wire
fans.
or cold cathodes.
Yeah.
Or-
Forgot about the
or
wire.
static LED fans.
Or just static LED fans. Choose a color
Yeah.
and go.
And
And
most
things have
times-
changed.
You were stuck to that color theme. Not like in today's.
Well, your co-cathodes, what color were they when you ran it? When you ran
It
this
was,
machine 15 years
green.
ago?
Yeah, they're green.
Well, see, I was under the assumption when I built it that it had all green fans, but evidently I set it up for Christmas because it
Red
had
fans,
a
yeah.
120 red fan in it,
In the back here. I think it was
two
on it.
80 millimeter blue fans,
Yeah. In the front.
and the sides and the top, which I don't know what happened to those fans over the years, but they were green.
And then I'll be damned if these are RGB covers that go on around. These things tend to stay like a green and a red more than any other color in the spectrum too, don't they? For some
And,
reason,
yeah.
match so well.
I had a green sleeve power supply in it with a red, green, or blue transparent power supply.
There we go, getting a better shot of it now.
People
It's
that
not
are
cable
watching.
managed because we want it to kind of emulate how somebody
It
at
would have
my
been.
age back then would have put it together, because technically there was really no cable management area behind the motherboard tray.
We could have rerouted a couple things, just to tidy it up a little because it does have like a hole here for the 24 pin.
Go ahead and pop that panel off there, bud. Give us a better look.
I would need a screwdriver, sir.
Yeah,
this is
Yeah.
this is old.
Yeah, no thumb screws.
Go gadget your fucking finger out there.
Yeah, I wish I about could.
Hey, give it a couple 100 years, man. Cyborgs will be a thing.
I
Right?
meant to
Well-
leave you that iFixit kit, and I forgot.
Oh yeah, that bitch is tight.
Yeah, because I don't know who. Oh, you installed it. I remember because I was recording.
Yeah.
And this guy's hand can fit through an 80mm fan hole.
Yeah. See what? No issues. I was in here trying to fiddle with the RAM the other day while it was on. I got my finger stuck in the processor fan and it tickled a little bit.
I think we're gonna have to take your fucking mediocre status away from you. Because
Why's
that's
that?
that's a skill, bro.
That's
Put your
Oh
hand in
extraordinary.
that hole.
no. That's
Put your
just
hand in that hole.
coincidence. That ain't skill coincidence.
Fuck,
What's that mean? KJ's figured out.
I got my hand in that hole, but my hand not coming out the hole the same way it went in.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna have
to
to take
lop
it
off
off
my
and then-
hand or bust the acrylic.
Yeah, just say
I'm
fuck
gonna
it
kind of
and pull
miss
as hard
looking
as you
at
can
both
till
of
it
these
breaks.
PCs like sitting like this.
Yeah, because that's getting ready to find a new home in our studio once we get it established.
And get the Intel processor out of it.
Yeah, it's getting ready to get a
Another overhaul.
upgrade. The only reason it didn't get an AMD motherboard was we didn't have a back plate.
Yeah.
I was going to redneck engineer one, but then the older, more sensible me's like, no, that'll crack the motherboard. We better not do that.
Yeah. Caused more harm than
You
good.
gotta think this is the same person that you're arguing against, the 15-year-old Robert who put thermal paste on that you collected from that 15-year-old Robert and reused. You know, how
It
smart
still
was he?
works.
Yeah, we felt very confident in that it was still going to work because I mean I
Because
scraped it up and it wasn't
It
runny.
it was smoother than any thermal paste that I
It wasn't
used to
gritty.
date.
Yeah,
It was paste, yeah.
it was paste, man. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I thought it was gonna be just like dust and cracking off and
He's one of those
15-year-old thermal
high.
paste.
That's about what
Not a thermal
what I
paste.
expected, yeah. I about
No,
expected just a crumbly, powdery mess.
no, get you a spatula and start collecting it back, reuse it, see what it does, and I'll be damned if this processor over here. I've never seen it go past like 45. Just playing around with it.
Yeah, it's
I
I can't
don't
remember
get
what
it.
kind it is.
Well,
If
the
anybody
process.
knows
Oh,
what color 14 years ago, what kind of thermal paste was white?
yeah, it's white.
Is there any white thermal paste now?
Not that I've
mostly that I've
seen.
is either silver, gray, or in the case of
The brownish color one.
Thermal Grizzly Cryonaught Extreme is pink.
Yeah.
Noctua's
I
is
don't know.
gray, silver, whatever you want to say.
And this shit's
Let's see.
white.
Thermal Right.
You don't remember
is
at all the name
gray.
of it?
Back in the day, I want to say I used Arctic Silver, but I cannot remember. It's been too many drinks and too many years ago.
Too many
Dude,
years ago.
I have a hard time remembering a couple days ago, so I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, I
But,
understand. CRS,
check
can't
out
remember
our
shit.
next video, which will be coming out here in a couple days, of putting a Corsair 360mm AIO in this and doing some much needed cable management.
Oh,
because
yeah.
It looks like Spider-Man was in the backside of the case here.
Right, and he had a wet dream. It's that bad.
Horribly wet.
It's bad. I mean, it's gonna be fun though.
Oh, you
It'll be
might
real
just a
fun.
smidge closer, Robert.
What's that now?
There you go. I just said pull your mic a little bit closer or get a little bit closer.
He just slumped down. He's getting too comfortable
Yeah.
in that chair. Is
Yeah,
what it was.
I was getting comfortable. I apologize.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's why I had to pull the fucking recliner out of here, man, because I would sit back here and I'd slowly start setting further and further back.
Yeah, I
away
can
from
hear
the
you
mic.
going further and further back as you
Dial
do
it up just
that.
a little.
There you go. Turn your gain up a scotch. Just a scotch.
Yeah,
What measurement is that? I don't know, but
A
we'll do
scotch?
it. Yeah. Is that a measurement?
It's like a shit
How
ton. That's
can we say
actually a
that's
measurement.
not a?
Yeah, a
That's
shit
not.
ton is a measurement.
And
Is
a
an
fuck
ass
ton is
ton?
more than a shit ton.
What about an ass ton? That's less
I
than a
think it's
fuck ton,
ass
ain't it?
ton, shit
Shit
ton,
ton.
fuck ton.
Yeah, I agree with that. I stand there completely by that.
Because around our area, we see a lot of big trucks hauling coal.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's got a graveyard hump, which means it's loaded to the gills,
Yeah,
we call that a fuck ton.
yeah, that's 1 fuck ton of coal in the back of
Well,
that truck.
where did you say an ass ton was in all this?
That's at the
Okay.
bottom.
Well, what's the difference in an ass ton and an ass load?
Okay, let's look at this.
Depends on if you're using a truck or a coal truck.
Because I've caught myself saying, "Dude, that dude's hauling an ass load."
Okay,
Right.
in the Urban
That's
Dictionary,
civilian vehicle.
a metric ass ton is in excess, a large amount, generally more than what is expected.
Generally more than what is expected.
Okay, now let's look up.
Shit ton.
Oh yeah, shit ton. Okay,
Yeah, you gotta see if we got one for a shit ton.
More than expected is an ass ton.
a
Right.
shit ton is equivalent to 24 metric ass loads, or 1/10 of a fuck ton.
So we did get it right.
And
So
a
it's
fuck
1/10 of a
ton-
fuck ton.
Here, read that again.
I love
read
their.
that again.
I love their. I will in just a second. A fuck ton is their title is more than a shitload.
More than a shitload. Hell yeah! So we now know what an ass ton, a shit ton, and a fuck ton is.
Shit ton is like what 24.7%
Hang on,
more than an
I'll
ass
read
load.
Shit
Okay.
ton.
A shit ton. A shit ton is equivalent to 24 metric ass loads, or 1/10 of a fuck ton, used to measure unquantifiable amounts of something. Although it can be used in the measurements of very large people, it actually is not a unit of weight.
So a shit ton, it takes 10
Okay.
shit tons to make a fucking fuck ton.
Yeah,
Bad
it's 1/10
usage.
of a fuck ton.
Here's their definitions. Bad usage. This guy must weigh a shit ton. Good usage. I paid a shit ton more money switching to Geico, and it took 20 minutes. A shit ton of thought went into this definition, it says.
Oh my! I'm
Oh,
glad
my
we cleared the
goodness.
air on that one, guys. So now we can
Hey.
use those and know what they mean.
It's
I wish we
definite.
had the little pan to everybody's screen that said, "The more you know," like it used to be on those
Yeah.
commercials.
The more you know. Knowing is half the battle.
It's gotta have the boo-doo-doo-doo-doo
Yeah.
as the star
We're going to
goes
have to
through.
grab that one, put that in a video somewhere.
Okay, now in Al's question about a shitload, it's more than an ass load, but still less than a fuck ton. I have a shitload of beer, but down at my friend's place, they have a whole fuck ton.
So you said it's more than an ass load?
It's more than an ass load, but less than a fuck ton.
Well, because it's 24 metric tons of an ass load to make a shit ton. So
Right.
and
Oh,
it takes
wait.
10
It takes
shit
10
tons
shit tons to make a fuck ton.
Some
yeah.
tech tips in this mediocrity of shit ton and fuck ton. In software engineering, an IE recognized standardized unit. So shitload is a standardized unit.
I got a
Good
headache
deal.
from laughing at that. Shoot.
Brett, your assert fired once in an
So you're going to need a
overnight
shit
test
ton of
pass
Tylenol.
loop I ran on my machine. That's a shitload of hits. Please fix ASAP. Thanks.
No, I'll do a ass ton of Tylenol because it's going to be more than expected.
Oh, more than expected, but not more
Not a
than an
lot,
ass
yeah.
ton. Not
Right.
1/10 of a fuck ton.
Right.
And here's another definition of shitload, meaning quite a few, a bunch, a lot, very many, more than you care to be able to count, more than you can count. A widely used exaggeration of there being far too
More
many
than
of
you can
something.
count.
Not to be confused with boatload or a whole fucking bunch.
So boatload is probably less than an ass load,
I love the Urban Dictionary.
right? When you say a boatload, then an ass load, or boatload, an ass ton, a shit ton, and a fuck ton.
I'll stand behind that 100%.
I didn't think about a boatload because what about a boatload of ass?
Ooh.
Now that's a tricky question.
Well, I mean,
say so.
I think that's derogative because that can be used anywhere. Like you can say that dude's hauling a bunch of ass. as
Right.
in speed, not as much as weight.
Right. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Oh,
Here we are
Oh.
breaking down a fucking urban lingo.
Hey, at least it's
this is
educational.
a blog on the difference between a buttload, boatload, and shitload.
A blog?
Yes.
Amazing.
Pull it up here so we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see this myself.
Yeah. So somebody
This
has
is
to go.
quite
to
entertaining.
It's too great.
So now, guys, if you should be able to use this terminology anywhere, right?
I mean, there's a whole paragraph of this shit.
So
I mean, it's a whole story.
there's a boatload of whiskey.
A boatload of whiskey is 54,107,280 gallons.
Wow, yeah, that's a boatload
Not all boats can hold that much. So
right there because we've got big boats, little boats, middle-sized boats.
and
What
this
about a yacht?
goes a shitload of whiskey
And a buttload of whiskey is 126 gallons.
or a cask. Yeah.
So a shitload of whiskey is less than a
Yeah,
boatload
but-
of whiskey, it seems.
Crazy.
Well, what about? Well, these are all loads, not tons. We were talking
About tons, right?
Your mic's
shit
cutting a
tons and
little.
fuck. My mic.
Yeah.
Okay, shitload. After reading through a thread discussing a formula for calculating average poop size minus the fiber and bacterial content, I'm siding with user Dave and agreeing that the average poop is probably around 0.5 pounds. But since it varies daily with diet and health and is messy, highly intricate, and hard or soft to calculate, I like to use the interval of a big equation.
Okay, round table question: do you all shit half a pound a day?
Probably.
Maybe.
Maybe. I've never thought about it in sheer mass before, to be quite honest with you.
And if you're all wondering, this is from blog.andrewwallingham.info.
Shout out to this guy.
/2011/06/ the
Difference
dash
between
different.
a buttload, and a shitload.
I'm glad somebody took the time to try to verify to everybody what a boatload and a buttload and a shitload is, man.
I wouldn't have thought there was that much in-depth thought in. Well, I should have known that because the internet.
Yeah, at the internet, I think everybody's almost thought of everything at this point. It's 11:33.
Yes, it was.
Oh Lord, boatload.
That's why we can't keep on one subject, people. We have questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, and then we go try to answer them, and then we have all this useless knowledge up in here to tell you guys about.
Well,
And
when there's a fucking
process of it
meteor
all.
coming at the Earth and everybody's gonna die and
That thing
everybody's
must
going
weigh a
around,
fuck ton.
everybody's gonna be wondering, well, how much whiskey should we get? We're gonna be the ones sitting there saying, well, we don't need a shit ton of whiskey.
Right.
We need a boatload.
We need a boatload, and then we'll go get an ass ton of weapons, okay? And
Right.
a shit ton of ammunition.
Yep.
Well, fuck that. Scratch that. A fuck ton of ammunition.
Sounds right.
We need more ammunition than we do guns.
We're going to enter the Contra code.
Well, at that point, I would think we need more whiskey than anything because we don't want to know what's about to happen.
Right.
You know, I'm a
Unless
firm
it's on-
believer during an apocalypse kind of situation, there should be no alcohol.
Yeah, I think everybody should be kind of level-headed myself.
Need to be sharp,
Yep.
No.
especially during a zombie apocalypse, man.
Until you get comfortable. Gotta get settled in and everything nailed down. Then you can think
Yeah,
about
okay.
the luxury supply.
I'll buy that for $1.
Oh,
Because
man.
there's always going to be those people who don't want to drink, and we can stick their asses on guard duty.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done got the apocalypse figured out too. We figured
I
this
just want to be the
out.
guy driving out in the field with a Maldus on top of a Jeep.
Well, you're thinking like straight up like zombie apocalypse. You're going to go through causing a bunch of mayhem. What
Well,
if
see,
you got
I'll be the
a
guy
short
on the
period of
Maldus
time?
with a bottle of liquor, and
What if
hopefully I
the-
have a designated driver. That's
Well,
the
what
only
if
hope I have.
what if the apocalypse is a short term kind of thing? You got a month before the Earth explodes. That's when we all get drunk as TMG and go try to fucking hijack a shuttle.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, Elon. We need a favor.
Yeah.
Holler at us.
We'll fly those things and check it out for you.
Or you gotta take the Tesla truck until the battery runs dead.
Just don't throw no fucking ball bearings at the window.
Interesting fact, if you are trapped in a vehicle and you have a spark plug, you could chip off a piece of the insulator, the ceramic, throw it out the
Ceramic of
window.
it,
Yeah, it shattered.
And from what I've seen, it does work.
It does work. I've seen it firsthand myself. Somebody take and throw a dang spark plug on the ground, take a piece of it, throw it at a windshield, man, and it shatter it. It's mind blowing, like a pea gravel size something.
We don't condone going out there and smashing anybody's windows.
No,
though.
don't do that
No, we don't do that. That's just
unless you
something-
have to. That's just,
Unless they come and take your dog and trade it out for a similar looking dog and try to start
Oh.
messing with your mind. Or
I thought you were going to hold John Wick on that one.
Unless
say
they
Right.
kill your dog and then steal your car, and then you got to make like 7 people disappear in a room with a pencil,
Well, yeah.
pencil.
A pencil, he says.
Yeah. The Joker does a magic trick with a pencil. He makes it disappear.
It's
How's he
gone.
do that though?
It goes in the guy's eye socket, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Remember you? Yeah, it's gone. His head.
I
It's
thought that
about the
guy
magic
was just like overreacting. that it
He
was
might have
gone.
just grabbed it. He's part of the trick too. That's how most magic works.
He was a plant. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's how most magic works.
It's kind of like the lighter in a corner.
That was weird.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, you can take a ladder, a big ladder, put it in a corner, and scoot it a couple times, and it will stay there.
Yeah, my boy, I showed him last night. He's like, I don't know why I've tried with you. You're magic. And I just laughed at him. I'm like, I'm just as surprised as you are at work.
You got to do like I say to all these kids. I'm like, nah, I'm level 3 apprentice wizard. Once my hair reaches 1 more inch in length, I'll gain another level. Then their minds are like,
I'm not being accepted. Yeah, my practices are a little bit too risky for them.
An
oh, you're in
orthodox.
the dark arts. I see.
I mean, I know. I just keep trying to turn everything into frogs.
Oh,
Cat. Bam. Cat frog.
frog.
Oh, dog. Dog frog. Oh, dog frog.
Cat
Frog.
frog. It didn't work, so they scratched that whiteboard and said, "Cat dog, that'll work."
And you truly not living until you seen a frog.
Right. Frog. I think I might have seen one of those ones. 2-headed frog.
Frog
Oh, yeah?
dogs. Say nose. Keeps
Frog
you dry.
dogs.
Yeah.
It's a rain suit. They call them frog togs.
Frog dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know something.
They know what I'm talking about.
I know something I would like to discuss with you guys is kind of like what
All
we're
right.
doing now. We're using Discord to talk with one another, right?
Okay.
Now, back in the day, what did you use to talk to friends online?
MSN Messenger. Hellnet.
Hellnet. Now, that's
If
a
anybody
really
knows
old
what
one.
that is. Yeah, I'm that old.
I mostly just used Yahoo Messenger to let everybody know I was going to go play whatever game I was playing online, which at the time was Tibia.
Right.
And then once you got on Tibia, it was just the text chat within game that we contacted each other through.
Right.
Or RuneScape. I
Or
remember playing that.
RuneScape, yeah. I didn't play much of it in the day, but Tibia was
I
my
played
jam.
a fuck ton of that back in the day.
Played WoW, so.
When I was supposed to be going to class, I was in the library playing fucking.
Right.
See how cordial I was,
RuneScape.
bud, when you mentioned WoW? I was pretty good there. I was reserved.
Right.
don't you
Yeah,
think?
no mean comments.
No,
I applaud you, sir.
I'm working on myself.
It's good. It's great. Because WoW's a good game. Sort of. As far
You said it, not me. You said sort of, not me.
Yeah, sort of. It can be good and it can be bad because it's like crack.
It's on your perspective and how much you
Yeah.
want to spend to play.
I gotta
Right.
say, I watched the Warcraft movie.
Oh
That
yeah,
thing
I
that
like
thing
it. So
rocked. I love
yeah,
that movie. It made me want to get enthralled in the entire world, but from what I understand, it doesn't hold very true to lore of World of
oh yes, it
Warcraft.
does. Yes, it does
Yeah,
too. Yeah, it holds very true to the lore of World of
I
Warcraft.
need to
That's why
watch
I
this.
liked it so much.
yeah.
Like everything you see in that movie, that's what happens in like not World of Warcraft, but the Warcraft series more so than the World of Warcraft. But it
Right.
all still falls into it.
Well, Warcraft has a comic series as well, right? Graphic
Yeah,
novel.
yeah. As far I'm pretty sure they do. I'm not into it like I was 10 years ago, but
Right.
pretty sure they've gotten some. And I know for a fact they've got
Praise the
nice
Lord.
books. They got really good written
Well, it's kind of like
storybooks for the
RuneScape.
lore.
I started playing it before they started the 3D, and then
Right.
when they started doing the 3D, I was like, well, I didn't like it at first because it was vastly different than the interface that was previous.
Hold on, dude. I'm gonna wrinkle us back here just a little bit. We'll
Yeah.
pull back to we was talking about chat back in the day, and we kind of lost track on what we was talking.
Oh,
about.
Yeah.
what was the other that you mentioned before we started recording?
Let's see. I used like
ICQ
TeamSpeak a lot.
Messenger.
Yeah, ICQ Messenger. I used it for much
Yeah.
nefarious deeds though because
We took care of all the bases though because it encapsulated MSN Messenger,
it
Yahoo
did.
Messenger.
It had it all, but it also had like if you knew to go and look in people's profile, you could like sniff their IP out like that.
Oh yeah, that was one of the more dangerous aspects of it.
Right. And then once I have your IP, I could go and use I guess it'd be safe to say these things now on this, like NetBus and Sub7. Remember that stuff?
I
I
do
don't know if you
remember that
fooled
stuff.
with it. It was like, like backdoor programs. You could type their IP address in. It's like,
Sega, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
you could like see their screen, what they're doing, pop up websites, open their CD-ROM tray. I mean, keyloggers. It was insane how easy it was to get into somebody's system back in the day. It was
Now, I didn't do
wild,
this
wild
on
west,
people I
man.
didn't know. I just done it to buddies of mine that I knowed, just to
Well,
mess
that's
with
mostly
them.
what I did. Just fuck with my buddies. I didn't do nothing like that nefarious with it.
Right. I always like messing with my buddies and open their CD tray when they put a game in, just pop it back out on them.
Right. Be like pop this dialogue box up in the middle of the screen. It's like, do you need a Pepsi holder? And then open their CD and
Yeah.
It's cool
I
things
know.
like that. I never did anything too
Because
nefarious,
then you
but
get
you
a call on the
could.
phone.
Yeah.
You should have done it and
Oh,
then, like typed on the screen, "Happy birthday, Polly." Sorry,
right.
that was a Rocky reference.
You're talking about which Rocky was that? That's where he fought the Russian.
Yeah, Drago.
Did you guys ever use
Ivan Drago.
TeamSpeak?
No,
Either
I
one of you?
did a little, not a lot.
That was one I used a lot playing WoW, TeamSpeak. There was another one too, but I can't remember what. Ventrilo.
I didn't mess with Ventrilo any.
That's the one Billion made fun of me for. It's like, does everybody still using Ventrilo? Because that was a badass thing back in the day, and you had to pay for it to have a good server and good
Right.
quality.
well, see,
Shit worked on dial-up.
you guys are the old school PC people. You know what it was like back in the day. I'm still pretty recent on that
Right.
other end.
Yeah.
If I did talk to anybody during the whole online gaming phase, I was on a console, so I would use Xbox Live or PlayStation.
Right. 'Cause
I never did use that.
I
Yeah.
started back when using like Gateway 2000s and back
I had
in 400 to 800 megahertz processors.
I had my first really badass computer. I think it was like a Pentium 4, and that thing got it like 1998. I want to say 1990. It had Windows
Before I built
98 on it.
the last couple that I built, mine was a NXTZ Tempest case with a gigabyte motherboard. I cannot remember the actual motherboard, but I've still got it with a X4 Phenom AMD processor.
Phenoms were beasts.
Yeah, and then the graphics card that I had was a let me think here. We just talked about this the other day.
Yeah,
It was a BFG Tech
that's the one that you had
680.
pre-ordered too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I paid like $680 to $700 for this back in, I'd say 07, 08 ish,
Phew, think about that. Still paying that much for a graphic card back then.
around that area. And I had to RMA it 4 times because
Oof.
it kept either burning up or wouldn't work. And I remember the last one that I got, it stayed working until the shelf that I had the PC sitting on collapsed and ripped the HDMI port out of it.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I was distraught.
Well, I
So then I
man.
mean,
bought an Xbox 360.
Console.
you say yes, spending that price then and now, pretty much still doing the same thing. Brand new games have always been at that fucking $59.99
That's
price
true.
point.
That
Always.
is
It's
very
true.
true.
No
'Cause I
matter
can remember buying
what.
64 games at the Radio Shack, $60.
Even back in that day and age, I can remember spending $2,500 on that computer.
Oh
Right.
yeah, yeah. I don't doubt that.
And now you pretty much, for the same performance then as,
Buy a Raspberry Pi for $80.
Well,
right.
you can get the
Well,
performance from more of a performance
Your
out
cell
of
phone.
the APUs, cell phones. Yeah.
well, you think that the performance then, upscaled till now, that's what you pay to get. Well, to get high end now, it's vastly more since the GPU hike.
Yeah,
Before they started coming
that
back down.
changed our graphic card prices forever. I feel that has. Because now
did.
those companies see, oh, these bastards are willing to pay $1,500 for a top tier card. I think that's going to hurt us.
No, what hurt us is this big collapse that our economy really had. Like
That
COVID hit.
COVID hit hard.
Place
it
when
did.
PlayStation 5 came out, people were fucking grifting these things, and you're paying $1,000 for
They
fucking PlayStation 5s.
still doing that, as
And
far as
people
I
want to
know.
go to PC, and then
All
people
right.
just capitalized on the vulnerableness of gamers when they wanted to go to PC because they don't want to pay, $1,000 for a fucking PlayStation 5.
For what we have now, what kind of graphics card do you have, KJ?
6600 XT.
And what, as an end result, what will you end up paying for it?
Let's see here, a little over 800. But
Right.
that was when the markets were a little higher 8 months ago. That's how long I've been paying for it.
Back in November of last year, 2021, I bought a 6700 XT Sapphire, and I paid roughly right at $1,200 after it was all said and done.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
I recently acquired a couple months ago this 6900 XT for the exact same price.
and it's what, 2 tiers higher, E67, and it's water
Well,
cooled.
well, it's the toxic version, so it was a little more pricey depending on which variant you have.
Yeah, and I've
'Cause you
noticed
have,
these Sapphire SKUs are much higher than any of the other ones for some reason, by just a little.
well,
But that variant you got, so it's a couple
well,
$100 more than most.
there's a tier above that one.
Oh
Mine
yeah,
is
the
the LE, which is
6950 one. Oh,
the limited edition. Then you have a what was the other? Crap. Anyway, this one, the base clock, as far as like toxic boost, is 2630, I think,
yeah.
and the next variant is 2730.
So 100 more megahertz.
Right. Let me look that up real quick. 'Cause that irritates me that I cannot remember because I ogled over this card for months.
You did, because that's what you was looking at before you bought this, right?
Right.
And if
It
you guys
was
can't say I'm pointing towards the 6700 XT that he was talking about.
because I sold it to him for current market value, which was like
Yeah,
$650
yeah. They're
ish.
still holding that. Still holding that.
Well, See, mine's the 6900 XT LE liquid cooled. And then you have, okay, it's Extreme Edition. Why can I not remember that?
Oh yeah.
Grab a
And
Capri Sun, man. Get
I
extreme.
actually had 2 of those the other day. Off
Yeah.
topic, but my buddies at work were aggravated. He's like, look, it's a juice. He said, it's a Kool-Aid jammer. I'm like, no. I said, back it up. I said,
Fuck
Kool-Aid
out of here,
jammers
fat
are
Kool-Aid
wannabes.
jammers.
I said, Capri Suns were first.
Yeah, 90s kids know what's up.
And drink those fucking things, turn into a silver blob, shoot through some things.
My favorite ones, I don't know if you all remember them, was the High C Slimer ones.
The
Oh yeah,
Ecto-Cooler.
the ectoplasm or the
Ecto Coolers,
yeah,
yes.
ecto coolers. Yeah,
They came back out with them for a short time when they came out with the all-female Ghostbusters.
I was kind of distraught because I didn't get one because I love the taste of those.
I don't think that it was the same.
The reviews said that they taste different. They wasn't the same.
Oh, well,
it was okay, but I don't think it was what I remembered it being. But you know, there's a big gap there. Yeah, that formula is gone.
Back on topic, the 6900 XT LE has a toxic boost of 2660, whereas
2660.
the Extreme Edition has a toxic boost up to 2730.
Right. So again, about 100 megahertz.
Right. And then you pay like probably $200 to $300 more for that 100 megahertz, which I can get out of this one.
Overclocking it.
No problem because I had it running at 2900.
And NVIDIA is the same way. They're guilty of the same practices on that shit too. You go look at the 3060 and the 3070s and the 3080s. There's not a big performance increase there. You're paying like $100 or $200 for 100 or 200 megahertz. It's not. You're gaining like 8 frames.
It's like the 6950s.
It's kind of trivial. It's a pissing contest, really.
It's like the 6950s and the 6750s. And did they even make a 6650?
I don't think so.
Don't believe so. No.
I know. I remember. I don't even think they made a 6850. I think it was just the 6700s and the 69s. Yeah, but I'll have to confirm that because.
Yeah, 6650, 6750, 6750, and a 6950.
All right. Well, see. Why they skipped over the 68? I guess if they made a 6850, it'd be equivalent to a 69.
Yeah, it'd just be a 69, wouldn't it?
So wouldn't the 6600 be equivalent to 6600?
Let's see. AMD Radeon RX 6950 XT for $1,099 US is the MSRP, and the 6750 XT is supposedly $549, and the 6650 for $399. I mean,
well, that's MSRP.
Yeah, it's MSRP.
We know how that goes.
So, yeah, then you're not going to find that really. Every now and again, you can find a card before they sell out.
Right.
When you pick a new card, you really need to just look at all aspects of it. Like I've said before, the reason I picked my card is because it was cheap at the time, and the base clock and boost clocks are higher than anything else that's in that category.
I mean, me and you benchmarking them side by side, I can barely outperform you. Yeah. I mean, barely.
And there is negatives on both of y'all's side, if you think about it, because Bud's down to what? What do we talk about on the bus speed?
Mine's a 3.0, 16.
Yeah.
And then his is 8. Pretty sure right now because it's split between his M.2 and his PCI slot.
Right.
And the thing still competes with the 6700.
Right.
On 3.0, PCIe 3.0, not even on 4.0 PCIe.
Not even 4.0, yeah.
And it still shines just, 200 points on a superposition benchmark or something like that difference?
So, probably the notes to take, if you're building a PC, get what you
need it for.
Want right out the gate.
Yeah, go ahead and get what you want.
Don't have any buyer's remorse because he's like, well, that's cheaper. Just save a little longer and get what you want.
Get that component for sure. Yes, that's why it's took me as long as it has to put this thing together, and it still isn't exactly the way I want it. but it'll get there. Just gotta keep saving and scraping, and you can build it, man.
It's like
Don't get in a hurry.
I first built mine. I built it with a Gigabyte Aurora's X570 Elite Wi-Fi board, which is not a bad board. Don't get me wrong.
No, it's not.
But
Would you
then
say 550?
it
Like
was a
560,
X570.
70.
Oh, you started with the
Yeah.
570?
I did, but then
Let's see.
I went to an MSI X570.
I started showing him the power delivery on them MSI boards, and he's like, "Ooh."
Then I went and bought a MSI Meg
Nice.
X570 Ace Max,
Yeah, it's a very nice board.
and I have the interface on the BIOS. I have no complaints. I only wish that they would implement BIOS updating like Gigabyte does. So you're
No, that's
always,
nice.
because that is a handy feature.
Feels a lot safer. It
Well,
really does. To me, I'm anxiety. I have anxiety splashing bottles, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
We all have an MSI board, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
No.
yeah. Bunch of MSI
Glenn has
fanboys.
you have what, a B450?
Yeah, B450 gaming
Then
board.
KJ has a B550,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I have a X570. So we've pretty much got the bases covered on chipsets.
I'd like to have a bigger processor.
Well,
Does your
Mine's starting
board
to show some age.
the 450 doesn't support 4.0 though, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's why I would like to at least go to a
Yeah.
550.
Well, like I
Right.
said, if I end up getting that combo and I get another 550 board, I mean, I don't need another 550 board.
Right. I'd put her to good use because I'd love to benchmark this card. And I would still use this processor and another one just because I would like to see if it helps it any. Even though I know it's only still going to be in 3.0, but
and
maybe
guys,
that 550 does better on that chipset.
if any piece of advice I could give you sticks, make sure your BIOS update, because it can open up a whole lot more features.
Oh, I was sitting here like foaming at the mouth to use smart access memory with this new card, thinking that my first gen Ryzen processor didn't support it. Lo and behold, go check out their website, and I have a BIOS update that gives me SAM on a first fucking gen processor. Now,
that's
show
10
me
to
an
15
Intel
frames.
that fucking does that. Show me an Intel that does that. Goes back that far and still supports that shit.
The
Show
only
me an
thing
Intel that does
I
that.
could say for Intel is their support for DDR5 on their current platform.
Yeah, for now.
For
We'll
now.
see
Yeah,
when
for
that
now.
7000 series comes out,
But
man. I'm telling you. But
I've
they don't
seen,
support DDR4 and 5 like 12th gen does. I do give it that.
right.
But most of the time,
So-
Intel doesn't do that shit. Give you backwards compatibility. Like, here, you can use this generation and this generation, and that's it.
Well,
Or
that's
you can
why.
grab any one of these AMD boards with an AM4 socket, and they don't give a flying fuck what processor you drop in it. Does not matter.
Yep, it'll work.
It'll
Well,
work.
that's why you got to take the cautionary tale of be sure you know what you're getting, or you could end up like Mr. Beard here and get a processor that won't fit into a motherboard, and then you
Yeah.
got your parts sitting in a corner for a year.
And then I end up with it in my part collection.
Right.
Well, it's
Be
like
sure you know what you're getting.
the old PC I had. It was a cyber power PC. It
I won't
has
hold that
a-
against you.
well, I know. I got it for a good deal right before the great graphics card hike. It come with an A320M gigabyte board, a RX 580 4 GB variant, a Ryzen 3600, an SSD. I think it was a 1 TB, and I was pleased with it. And then my kids started wanting a computer, so I was like, well, I built this one with the Aurora's board. I gave my old PC to my oldest boy and upgraded the RAM in it with some Corsair 3200 Vengeance RGB Pro. So then I went to about another 6 months. My youngest son, he's like, well, I think I might want a computer because they both were Xbox players. I was like, well, I said, I'll build you one, but what I'm going to do is give you my board, and I'm going to upgrade a little bit. And I just passed it on down the line, and I put a 5700G APU in it, and it does on medium settings. It does fine.
That's at 1080p.
Well, I mean,
Well, the TV he's using 720, so it's
Okay, well, I mean,
it's
shit.
used
A
on
lot
stuff.
of
When you're-
those APUs will fucking outperform anything that's in a console, anyways.
oh yeah, that's what's in a console. If you get to looking,
And I got a little bit bigger case, a Corsair case, and I gave him my 4000X. And as long as he's happy, I'm happy.
That's what
Yeah.
happened to my fucking Corsair 4000. It didn't show up in my house. It fucking time traveled to fucking Robert's house, and he got delivered to his house. And I see now,
yeah,
fucking
we
Terminators.
figured it out. Terminators,
Fucking-
dude.
Yeah, Terminators. But
Gotta hate
it's
the
like the
Terminators.
old Green Machine. It's got an
Hobgoblin.
Intel in it.
Yeah.
And it runs perfectly fine with a regular hard drive, which surprises me. It boots up
Hey.
faster than what I would expect.
Good 35 seconds, and this thing boots up. Granted, it is a 7200 RPM Toshiba hard drive in it.
Right.
Is
My
it
brother.
still the 15-year-old hard drive that's in it?
No. We still
Okay.
have it though, but it's a 7200 RPM Seagate.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah?
Or
it's
was it a
just
Mac
so-
store?
I can't remember. Yeah, I got the parts sitting right here.
It still works
Yeah.
though?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's Asus does.
It's got the factory Dell operating system on it.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
took one
impressive
of
for
my
a mechanical
drives.
hard drive, man.
Yeah, as long as you don't beat and batter them things, man,
Yeah, it's
they'll
an 80
hold.
gig, you know.
Yeah, but 15. Well, like you said, you don't know to what extent your sister used the old
Right.
Hobgoblin, but
I don't
She
think
used it for
much.
school.
like people like us, 15 years of writing and rewriting
Oh, we
on a
would wear
mechanical
one
drive.
out for
Yeah,
sure. We'd wear it
Jesus.
out.
She was probably, I want to say, anywhere from 8 to 10 when I built that for her. And I know she used it for school some, but not extensively unless she was very diligent about cleaning it. Which
Right, 'cause that thing was
I
clean.
highly doubt. It had a few cobwebs. I think that was just from sitting in my
Right.
shop.
Yeah, it's clean. Real clean. For a 15-year-old PC, it was clean.
Yeah, it surprised me.
I put a benchmark up of the old thing, actually.
I
It's
seen
only
that.
got 8 gigs of RAM running right now, and it's about up there on par with Mr. Beard's. Wait till I get the
was getting
other
ready to
stick
say,
working.
it was running pretty close to the benchmark that I had with my 1650 Super and Ryzen 3.
Yeah, wait till I fix I think just one of the DIMM slots is dirty or something, because Beard said that he had a little issues out of it, so I'm going to clean that out real good, fix that. And I think once I get 16 gigs in it, and I can overclock this board supports overclocking. I want to beat Mr. Beard's PC with the Hobgoblin.
Well, see, my whole thing when I started benchmarking mine was on Cinebench. There's a Threadripper right above my 5800X, and I've come I want to use a redneck term here, a gnat's ass of having the same score or better than that Threadripper.
Been watching him for like 6 months try to beat that Cine
And
benchmark.
I'm at the max of what I can push my RAM because 5800 is the highest, or 3800, I'm sorry, is the fastest I can run it. And there's faster RAM out there. I've just not doled out the greenbacks to get that.
Yeah. Going fast gets expensive in cars and computers.
Very true.
It does.
Guys, I guess you want to wrap this one up, call it a short one this time, so that way
Why,
we can
yeah.
actually enjoy some video games
Yeah,
this
we're going to
time.
go play some Red Dead Redemption 2
Online.
online. So see if you guys join our Discord. you could hop in here and play Red Dead Online with us and join our posse. Don't that sound fun?
We do
That'd
have
be
a
awesome.
well, like we were saying last night, our posse isn't big, but it's strong and resilient. We take a beating and we keep getting
Take a
up.
beating.
Our posse just cannot be stopped. Okay.
Nope, it gets shot up and keeps on ticking.
So
We would
if
like
you're
to have a
interested,
big posse one day.
Yeah, so we need
so
your
if
help.
you're interested, check us out on mediocregaming.org and check us out on YouTube with the Team Mediocre Gaming.
Check us out on Twitter.
Thanks
And
again
Twitter.
to everybody because we got like almost 500 views already.
Yeah. So
I
thank
mean,
you guys. I'm glad you
that's
like
The
our
Anchor
content.
views, we appreciate it.
We're going to keep doing what we do and hope you guys stick in there with us, man.
Because there may not be no format, rhyme, or reason for what we do. We just
Do it
like to
because we
go where
like
the
it.
flow takes us.
we just do it.
We just go with the flow.
Right.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Gosh. No, you gotta take the outro out with the Stone Cold.
You caught me on the spot. I can't do
I
it.
put you on the spot.
We'll give you one more week
One
until
week.
we give you one more week, and then next week you guys got to hear this man's
Just so
impression
you
of
know,
Stone Cold. It's getting so good.
I've done it for the past fucking
I laughed
14
so
hours.
hard I cried last night.
But till next week, guys. We'll see you later.
Peace.
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 Welcome back to another episode of Team Mediocre Gaming Podcast. Introducing our hosts, Corrupt Owl,
Don't say it like that, like I'm doing something fucking weird.
Demonic Axeman,
When you see a shark, you just go out and punch it.
and Bud Cephas.
You ever see trash turkeys eat French fries?
Join them for mediocre adventures into the world of gaming, tech, and general jackassery that only 3 mediocre men could deliver to your listening holes. Now settle in and buckle up. The time for mediocrity is now.